We are going to be discussing the digital storefront. My name is Joe Veronese. I will be walking through the digital storefront with you today. We're going to talk about gaining access, and then once you have access, going in and navigating effectively to get all of the information that you need out of the environment. So if there are any questions, please be sure to, I'm looking to record this, give me one moment. In progress, very good, okay. We're going to record this just so we have it for users who want to access it later, just to, again, refresh themselves on how to access the digital storefront. This is scheduled for an hour, but it will not take an hour. We've made some changes here over the past 6 months that have greatly simplified the use of the digital storefront and how you log in, how you consume information. So really, we put everything in front of you. We, as we like to say, we plopped an easy button on top of this thing to help you out nowadays. So let's see if I can get this thing out of the way. I'm only dealing with one screen today as well. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is how to gain access to the digital storefront. You can navigate to the America Makes website, which is americamakes.us. And if you scroll down about 2/3 of the way, you'll get to an area, a small area, that is the digital storefront information link. And we're going to be clicking on the Learn More button. And it will open up, excuse me, a separate web page. Get this out of the way a little bit. It will open up a separate web page that is specifically designated for the digital storefront. And if we scroll down, we can see there's request access at the top and the login button. But if we scroll down, there's information on just how to gain access to the digital storefront, how to contact us, and just some different insights. So if we come up here and I don't have my credentials, so I want to request access, if I click on that button, it will open up a web form. And that web form is very simple to complete. You go ahead and fill out all the fields. All of them are mandatory, even though re-enter work email is not marked as mandatory. It won't let you continue unless you re-enter your email. And I have to tell you that it must be an organizational email account that is an America Makes member that has access to the digital storefront. If you put in johnsmith@gmail.com, you will not be granted access. If you use an Outlook account or a Gmail account or something like that, very generic, we do not grant you access. You have to come in at a member organization domain name to get access to the digital storefront. Again, you will not be allowed in unless you have an organizational domain email address. So once you've filled out that form, you will click Submit. Once you click Submit, a workflow is kicked off, and it doesn't take a lot of time, but it allows for a bit of review on our side just to confirm some information. And once we've confirmed it, we keep the workflow moving along, and the workflow will send you an email. That email will be just a welcome email saying, welcome to the digital storefront. And there will be a link in that email that you can click, and it will take you to a web address that is the same as, if we go back one page from the registration form, it's the same page, it's the login page. So I just clicked on login on the, oh, took me all the way in because it remembered me. I have to sign out and clear some cache here, 1 second. That's the one thing about the browsers. They try to make it so helpful for you, and they remember everything. And if you don't remember to clear it, then you run into problems. So I'm going to go back to americamakes.us. And I'm going to scroll down on the home page. I could log in from here as well. We put login buttons everywhere. There's a login button here. The icon for the digital storefront here is also a login. I'm just going to click login. And once you click the login in the email, you will get a login screen that looks like this. And let me put my information in. Okay. Now, before I click next, I just want to show you, if you're not logging into this page, you're not logging in the correct location for the digital storefront. If you're going to save the digital storefront as a favorite that you can access from your web browser, you need to save this page. This page web address is digitalstorefront.americamakes.us. It did transition to a login screen. That's a template Microsoft login screen, but the URL is digitalstorefront.americamakes.us. And there is the disclaimer on the back side of this page that tells you you're going to be dealing with intellectual property and you're bound by the requirements of the membership agreement. And if you have any questions, you can contact our Air Force Program Management Office. So I placed my username in here. You'll place your company, your organizational email address in there, and you'll click Next. If you have a password for your organizational email address that's associated with Office 365 or associated with Microsoft already, like if your internal organization uses Office 365, you'll be able to use the exact same credentials to log in the digital storefront. You won't need to remember new credentials. The digital storefront now is federated in the Microsoft Azure GovCloud, which means it can recognize credentials that exist outside of NCDMM and America Makes. So if you work at, let's see, I'm just going to pull this one out. If you work at Boeing, Boeing uses Office 365. So the users at Boeing, at johnsmith@boeing.com, that would be their username, and their password would be the exact same password they use to log into their native environments, say their SharePoint or their online email exchange account. You would just use that information to log in. So I put my password in, and I click Sign In, and there is multi-factor. NIST 800-171 requires us to have multi-factor. So I have it text me, not call me. I think that's easiest, but that is a requirement. I can click Don't Ask Me Again for 5 days if I want it to hold the cookie a little bit longer, but I don't in this case, and then I'll ask it to verify. And then it's going to ask me, do you want to stay signed in? Again, it will hold the cookie just a little bit longer for you. Instead of holding it for 3 or 4 hours, it may hold it for 6 to 10 hours. And I'm going to click No. And it's immediately going to redirect me to the digital storefront. And we can see the tab at the top has changed to be the digital storefront right there. And if we come down, we can see that, let me find my cursor, I lost it. There it is. We are on the digital storefront. Again, we have connect.ncdmm.org. This URL lives in the Amazon cloud, and it is not the URL you want to save as your home page for your favorite because it will not render. That is simply a URL designation behind a couple of secure proxies. So if you save this page as your favorite, when you go to log in next time, it's going to say your credentials are not valid. Because we have multi-layered authentication rolling through the Azure cloud environment and the Amazon cloud environment for security purposes, it will tell you you can't get in. You must use the digitalstorefront.americamakes.us URL or any of the login links on americamakes.us. So here we are at the digital storefront. This is the home page. Anytime we talk about the home page, this is the page we're talking about. And I'm going to just cover everything on this page so you know what it is. We're going to start up here at the top, and you see this thing that looks like a little house. See that house-looking thing? That is a home button. It appears all the time in the environment. If you ever get lost down a rabbit hole, not quite sure where you are, you can always come up and click that home button. It will bring you back to this page. The button right next to it, the little gear wheel, is change the theme. Don't get overly excited about this because there's only 2 different variations of the theme. This is the light theme. If I go to the dark theme, it changes everything to a darker grayscale. Again, working in a low light environment, that way it's not so bright and easier on the eyes. I happen to like the lighting background, so I use that. And then just below that, we can see there is your organizational name. Your company name will be right here. It will say Boeing or Northrop or Case Western or whatever. And then right next to it, it'll say your group and role. So I am an external person, and I am an AM member, and I am ITAR non-restricted. And then there's this last little piece that says latest working. That's just something specific to the environment. It just says it's going to show you the latest working copy of anything that's here. You're not going to see revisions. You're not going to see anything that's not relevant. You're only going to see the latest working copies of everything. Now, if we move down just a little bit, we can see the largest text on the page here says Digital Storefront. One of the keys to the Digital Storefront is the largest text on the page always tells you what you're sitting on. So if you're ever just not quite sure what you're looking at, look for the largest text on the page. It'll tell you exactly what you're sitting on. I'm going to mention that a lot through the course of this demonstration. And to the right of that, we see that there's a back arrow. That back arrow does the exact same thing that the browser back arrow does. It just takes you to the previous page. If your previous page was not inside the Digital Storefront, inside our environment, it's not going to go anywhere. Where the back button up here would take you to the last page you were located on, this button will only take you back as far as the first page of the Digital Storefront you were on. Now if we move to the right, all the way to the right, we see this box here. Think of this as the Google search box for the Digital Storefront. It will allow you to search everything in the environment and filter it in a few different ways to help you find things. A couple of quick notes. One of the first things you're going to see is this select owner. This text on the top, both select owner, type, and advanced search are all clickable items. I'm going to show you what happens when I click them. If I click select owner, I get two choices, any or me. I always, always, always want it to be on any. If you choose me, it means you personally, and I can tell you for 100% certainty, you personally have not created anything in the Digital Storefront. Therefore, everything you search for will come back as no results because there is nothing in the environment you created. So that select owner must be chosen as any. If it says select owner, that means it's an any. If you choose by accident me, it'll say owner me. You don't ever want it to say that. You just want it to say select owner, any. To the right of that, you see type, and it says project revision now. Well, I could do any, and it'll give me anything in the environment. It's kind of like that broad Google search. Give me anything. I'm not restricting it in any way. But if I choose to, I can pre-filter my results by any of the common things we're going to be looking for. I can tell you that 95% searching you're going to be doing is either going to be for project revisions, which are all the projects. There's over 90 of them in the Digital Storefront. Or you're going to be searching for deliverable revisions. Again, that's the deliverables that live under the projects. Those are all of your deliverables that the statement of work for all of our projects have called out. I'm going to choose project revision. Now, in the search bar, it's natural language searching. I can put anything I want in here. But there is a wildcard. Shift 8, the asterisk, is a wildcard. It means give me anything, and it can be used in conjunction with text. So if I put wildcard Altem, I will get anything that mentions Altem that bumps up against it. But I can take that asterisk out and just search Altem, and the system will give me anything that mentions Altem. And I'm going to execute the search by clicking on the magnifying glass. Now, we're going to talk about this page. This is a search page. Very easy to tell it's a search page because I've got this new computer and a very tiny screen and I can never find my cursor. Largest text on the page tells me I'm in search. And this is highlighted. I'm in the results. There's also saved, recent, and advanced. You can move to those tabs. But 99% of the time, you're just going to stay in results. It's now showing me I have 9 results found for Altem that are project revisions. That was the pre-filter I selected way up here when I selected project revision. And it gave me those 9 results, and they are all there for you. We have a view here. This is kind of an Excel style of view. It's a table view. But there are other views to view this information. Anytime you see a table of information, you can change how it is shown to you. I happen to have it shown this way. And I'm going to make it a little smaller so you can see more of the columns. If it'll let me do it. And it will let me do it the quick way. So I'm going to hold off on that. Maybe I won't. I want to kind of give you more of a view. I'm going to zoom down here a little bit. So what I have are these columns. It gives me the name of the project, and it has this blue icon here. This blue icon is kind of stacked lines from left to right. That icon is just something we've put on there to denote it's a project. When you see that icon next to something, you can know for certain that item is a project. We see a light description of that project. We see the NCDMM PM, and we see the performing organization. And then we have a project ID. This is a GUI ID created by the system. Not really useful for you, but it's there for you anyway. So I've got these 9 results for project revisions that mention Altem. But if I think, you know what, this isn't quite what I was looking for. Maybe I wanted something different than Altem. I made a mistake by putting in Altem. I can just go up top, I can erase Altem, and I can put in steel. And I can execute the search. And I have, wow, 9 results for steel. They are 9 different results related to steel. Again, same columns. But I can change this view. If I don't like this view, I can come up to this area here. Anytime you see this kind of waffles, stacked pancakes looking thing, I can click on it, and it gives me some options to view this. I can do a list, which I'm not very fond of because it doesn't give you a lot of information. It just took the exact same 9 items and render it in a different format. I can do a list with summary, and it'll do the list on the left-hand column, and it gives me a summary. And the summary it's giving me is search results by swim lane. I'm going to magnify this because it's a little small. There we go. So I've got 4 that exist in the process swim lane of the 9. 2 of the 9 are in design, 2 of the 9 are in material, and 1 is in value chain. Now here's a neat thing. You see this color bar next to the search results? It was there even before I did this view. The color bar corresponds to the color of the bar over here. So I've got 1 in value chain. There's the only orange one. That's the only project that's in the value chain swim lane on the roadmap. And then I've got a process swim lane. I've got 4. I can look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dark blue. Excuse me. So that's just a quick reference for the eye that you can view. Now I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to go, instead of list, I'm going to go table with summary. And this gives me my table that I like on the left-hand side, and then gives me the same graphical view here. But let's say I want to narrow this down. I've got 9, but I really don't want all 9. I'm looking for something in particular. I can pick this thing that looks like a funnel over on the left-hand side, and if I hover over it, the tooltip says it's a search filter. I can open up these filters, and I can apply filters to my 9 results and narrow it down. I can scroll down and say, you know what, I only want the ones in the process swim lane, and it'll only show me those top 4. Or I could say, I want ones that have no background IP so that I can use this information right out of the gate without worrying about background IP. Or I could do ending MRL TRLs. Or I could say, I want only projects that North Carolina State was involved in. And I could click that and apply that filter. It will now only show me the 1 project that North Carolina State was involved in. And it gives me an overview of that project on the right-hand side. If I want to remove that, say, oh no, I forget North Carolina, I need to filter another way, I can come up to this breadcrumb trail, and I can click the X at the end of North Carolina State filter. It'll just remove that filter and go back to my list of 9. I can come in here and say, you know what, I'm only interested in things related to directed energy deposition. And my list goes from 9 to 6. And now I can see 6 particular projects dealing with DED. And I can either delete the filter here or I can uncheck it over in the left-hand side. Well, that's ASTM process category. We can do material type, equipment used, modifying date, in process, some different things there. But primarily, you're going to use material, equipment, ASTM process, performing organization, background IP, those types of things. That's why they're at the top. So I'm going to close that filter spec. And instead of searching just steel, I'm going to ask the system to give me every project. So I just put in the asterisk. It will now return every single project. So it says I have 86 results for the asterisk. So here's all of my projects. Notice the little color bar down the left-hand side. We can see that all of them have the little blue icon, meaning they're all projects. And we can see their swim lane distribution across the technology development roadmap. We have most of our projects in process. The least number of projects are listed in the AM genome swim lane. But there, I have 86 projects. I can come back to my filter spec now and apply filters related just to that. I could say, you know what, out of all the projects, I want only ones related to powder bed fusion. It says there's 34 of them. So if I click on powder bed fusion, it will go from 86 to 34. Now I only see my 34 projects. And if I happen to highlight one of those, it will load the summary of that project on my right-hand window. Instead of giving me that summary table view, it's going to give me just the light view of the project. It's an overview. And I can scroll down and read some information, problem statement, project objective, technical approach. I can see the project team. I can see the material type, the MRL, TRL, where it was sourced from, the NCDM, MPM. It's just all the attributes related to that project. But let's say I wanted to dig into this project, or a project, and I wanted to look to see what was there. So I'm going to pull up this project here, 4026, distortion prediction and compensation methods. So I can highlight it, and we see there's a box with an arrow jumping out here, and it's, if you hover over it, it'll say open. That'll open it and just re-render this page, opening that project. But if I highlight it and come up to my quick access toolbar here at the upper right, I'll see the same icon that says open. If I click on that one, it will give me options on how to open this. I like to come up here and open it because I like to open it in a new tab. That way, I still keep this tab and all these results here if I can reference back and forth if I want to. So if I click open in a new tab, it's just going to open a new tab up here in my browser. It's going to open the project. And again, largest text on the page tells you what you're sitting on. Project 4026, development of distortion prediction. Now I see that summary overview in a wider format down the left-hand side. I can see all of that great information related to that project. On the right-hand side, I see a list of all of the deliverables. The deliverable is denoted by a blue icon that looks like books on a shelf. And I can scroll down through those deliverables and see what's there. Now also, one of the great things we have here is attachments. We attach all of the presentations that have been given on this particular project, whether it's a TRX, MMX, if it's done at a DMC or any kind of symposium. If there's a journal article written about this project, we capture that here. So you have all of this information related to this project. So here's the TRX Summer 2017 presentation. If I hover on it, I can see that the icon says it's a PDF. If I just hover on it, it tells me the title, and it gives me this cloud with an arrow coming down. So, and if I hover over that, it says download. You have to download all of the items to view them, the PDFs, the XLs, the Word documents, the PowerPoints, simply because there is no rendering engine in the database to see them. So if I wanted to view this, I would have to download it, and I'm in Chrome, so it's going to download it here at the bottom right for me, and it'll take 15 or 20 seconds to download it. And once it's done, I can open it and view it locally on my desktop. Give it a second, see if it takes here. Running along. Oh, the internet's crawling today. As that's working, we're going to just keep talking about this page. We're in the Overview tab, but there's also something called Related Items tab. And this just provides a different view for the same thing. It's going to provide a tree structure showing you the project and all of its deliverables. And I can zoom in on this, and there's the project, and there's all of its attached deliverables and its attachments and everything else. Again, books on a shelf are a deliverable. Okay, this PDF has downloaded, so I'm going to click here and click Open. And there's my PDF of that project. That was the presentation that was given back in 2016 on this project, all of the information. Now I can go back to my page. And let's say I'm looking at these deliverables, and they're listed here, but they're also listed here. Let's say this one here is one that I'm interested in. I can click on it to highlight it. I can come up to my toolbar, and I can tell it to open in a new tab. It will open right from that box. And there's my deliverable. Largest text on the page tells you where you are. I'm in deliverable 253, which is from Project 4026, Determination Best in Class. Where is it? I'll come down here and read it. Determination Best in Class Thermal Distortion Prediction Tool. That's the name of it. I can see it was delivered by GE Global Research. Was to be delivered October of 2018. We received it actually early on March of 2018. Let me go down here. And I can see the attachments here. Here's what you would download for that particular deliverable. So there's the deliverable, Best-in-Class Distortion Prediction Tool. And if I were to grab that, it would download the same way. Because I'm using Chrome, it'll download in the browser down to the left. I can tell you if you like to use Microsoft Edge will immediately render PDFs because it has a built-in PDF viewer. It will render it right there inside Edge as another tab. So if you like to use Edge, that's one advantage of using Edge. I happen not to be a fan of Edge. I think there's way too much bad with it than good. But I can see I'm in the deliverable. I can see that the project is here. If I want to go back to the project, I could go there. There's my deliverable attachment. I can see that it's connected to this requirement via the technology development roadmap. Nothing else is attached at this point. Deliverable assessment. I can rate this. If I think this deliverable is fantastic, I can rate it 5 stars. What the deliverable assessment does is the higher number of stars, the higher in the list of search results it will appear. So if you think something's fantastic, rate it as 5 stars, and it will appear first in search results for people. So let's move up here. So now we're in the deliverable. But you know what? I've never left my original search results. So I can close the PowerPoint presentation. I can close the deliverable, and I'm back to the project. And if I want to, if this thing will let me, that button is covering my close, my cancel out of this tab. But I can go back to my search results. There I am, all the way back in my 34 search results, project revisions for powder bed fusion. So I was able to get all the way back just by leaving that tab open. Oops, let me make that as small as possible. Having one screen to do this is a little bit annoying because I can't get things off the screen for you. So that's how you use filters. That's how you use your pre-filters here. Choose what you want to view. Again, 90% of the time it's going to be deliverable or project to get your results. Find what you're looking for and download it. But let's say you have no idea what you're looking for, a deliverable or a project or anything else. Well, I'm trying to get this to move. So I'm going to click and just choose any. And I want to return anything related to, I'm trying to think of something mildly interesting. Let's just do, oh my gosh, let's just go TI. Now let's go TI-64. And I click search. It found 40 results for TI-64. I'm going to close my filters. So here's one, books on a shelf. That means it's a deliverable in Project 4008. Then I've got these things that look like puzzle pieces that all mention TI-64. If I scroll Scroll down, I've got a PDF from 4008. And the puzzle piece is actually a requirement. So all of these are requirements related to our technology development roadmap. So let's go back and talk about our technology development roadmap. I'm going to click the home button in the upper left to take me back to my home screen. So I'm all the way back here. So we've talked about everything north of these blocks. So let's talk about these blocks now. These blocks are nothing more than hyperlinks into the environment directly. So you saw I did that one search where I just put the asterisk in there and told it to give me project revisions. And it gave me 86 project revisions. Well, I've actually put a button out here for you. It just says projects. If you click on that button, it does the exact same thing. Gives you 86 results for projects. I just thought it would be easy to have it out there for you so you wouldn't have to go looking for it. But we have this other thing out here called TRX non-project information. At our TRX and MMX events, we've got lots of project briefouts. All of those project briefouts are attached to the project as attachments you can download and view, as you saw. But we have some presentations that are not directly project related. They're from our membership or from our government friends. This link here will take you directly to those. So if I click on that link, I can see that I've got TRX and MMX presentations from 2017 through now. So here's TRX July 2019 NIAR non-project presentations. Again, if I hover over it, I get this button that says open. If I open those, largest text on the page tells me where I am. These are TRX non-project presentations. Here they all are. If I highlight one, if the internet was working faster, it would show me a preview over on the right-hand side, but it's a little slow today. But here are all of those non-project presentations. And I'm going to switch it over to summary just so we can see it a little better. They're all PowerPoints. And if I wanted to view one, let's say this one here from ProbJob on GE's Quality V2, I can click download. The browser will download it. When it's done, I can view it. So that's all of the non-project presentations. If it's related to directly to a project, this file is connected to that project. Okay? I'm going to go back to my home screen. All right, so we talked about these two buttons. Here is the technology development roadmap. If I click on it, largest text on the page says I'm now looking at the technology development roadmap. I get a brief description. I get to see the 4 swim lanes. The screen just doesn't render big enough to give you all 5. And this box will not move for me today. Oh well. But if I scroll down, I can see my value chain. And I can open up my my swim lanes just by hovering over. Again, anytime you can open something, when you hover over it, you get your open button. If I open it, large page tells me I'm now in the swim lane material. Over on the right-hand side, I see it's connected CTEs, the critical technology elements. I see that its parent object is the roadmap. And I see that it has an attachment, which is the picture of the material swim lane. So let's say I want to look at next-gen material, CTE. I, again, just hover over it, open it. Largest text on the page tells me I'm in next-gen materials. Here are all of the requirements associated with that particular critical technology element. These are defined by our industry partners and our government friends as broad-based requirements that they feel need to be satisfied. I'm going to show you how we analyze these and measure these to be done shortly. And I can see my owning swim lane as material. I could open up any of these requirements. Let's open up this one. And here I'm in the requirement, largest text on the page. No deliverables have been associated with this, so it's an opportunity. No capability needs. Critical technology owning piece is right there. Materials, next-gen materials. And that's what's going on with that requirement. So it's an opportunity, and I'll show you how we render those. I'm going to go to favorites right now. Favorites is just a place you can pin things that you see that you like, that you want to just have there. So I'm going to open up all the projects, and I'm going to open up one of these projects, and I'm going to say this one right here. And if I wanted to pin this project, it's something I'm going to want to look at a lot, I can come up to my toolbar and you see a star. I can add it to my favorites. If I click the star, see how the star was clear, now it's filled in. If I go back to my home page, open my favorites, there's that project. It just saves it for you right there, so you don't have to go searching for it. So if you find things you like, you can pin them to your favorites. All right, last thing we're going to talk about is this Insight Report. The Insight Report is the colorful graphic interface to the digital storefront that I'm eagerly anticipating another piece of it being released before MMX. But right now, if you click on it, it will take you to the Insight Reports. And you'll see the disclaimer again. Anytime we are rendering new information, we have to pass this along to you. You agree to terms and conditions, and then you get a handy dashboard. We're going to skip capability needs for right now because they require a little bit of an explanation. They're new. But we have a partner dashboard, a project dashboard, a roadmap dashboard, and then an at-a-glance dashboard. We're going to start at the bottom at at-a-glance. At-a-glance just gives you a quick rendering of what's inside the environment. It's a static slide. You may have seen this in America Makes presentations. We'll put this up there just to show you the value and the health of the portfolio. Understanding that this $140 million portfolio value does not include any of the cost share. With cost share, we are well over $200 million in value of portfolio. As we scroll down through here, you can see all the projects, all the deliverables, everything that's out there. Now, this tool is exactly like Excel. It has tabs at the bottom. So to get back to any of these dashboards, I can use the buttons at the bottom. I'm going to go now to the project dashboard. This is one I like quite a bit. It shows me projects relative to each swim lane. I can see that in the process swim lane, we have the largest number of team participants. We also have the largest number of projects up the y-axis, and on the x-axis, participants, and then the circle is quite large, so it's also the highest number of projects in there. And if you hover over it, you can see it gives you a little tooltip telling you all those three pieces of data. Now, if I'm only interested in design, maybe I'm a design-focused company, I can click on the blue circle, and everything else on this page will change to reference only that blue circle. So what projects are coming to an end, these projects are all old. If I could move this, you'd see day 0 and projects that are about to come to an end. I apologize for that window not going away. The table at the bottom is just representative of all the information you see on the page. And then you'll see this hyperlink after each item. If you see something that interests you, if you see this deliverable right here, fabricated solid sparse build mold dies and testing of mold dies, I'm interested in that particular deliverable. You don't have to go search it in the digital storefront. You can just click the link. It will take you back into the digital storefront and open up a deliverable for you. So very quickly, you can be back here reading about that deliverable. You can see its parent project. You can go up to its parent project and see all of its deliverables and the project profile, and also any attached. There was a program review back in 2013. This is an old project. It was from Project Call 1 from America Makes, a long time ago. And then you just click the tab back to your Insight Report, and you're back to your Insight Report. Nothing's changed. And then if I want to get away from the design swim lane, if I click that dot again, it brings all the other data back to life. But if I did a bunch of clicks, like let's say I just wanted to see everything that's 1,000 days old at America Makes. Give me a second, it's rendering. Come on. I can click on those dots. But if I did not know how to get out of this, I don't know which dot I actually clicked on, I can come up here to the top and do reset to default. It'll just reset it back to the original. So that's quick and easy for you. Now, my favorite thing on this dashboard is right here. It's called Team Participants. If I want to know where every organization has participated with America Makes, there we go, I can slide down a little bit that way. I can scroll down and choose all the different organizations. Let's say I want to see where Delaware Dynamics and who else? Hometown Products. I want to see where those two organizations have played in the America Makes space. I can now see the projects, both past and future, they've been involved with. I can see all this information. I can see the detailed information down in the table, and it's just for those two organizations. I can see what they've done and where they've been involved with America Makes. That is very important. Then I can go back to select all, and it brings everybody back. But that's a very powerful tool. All of these filters are available to you to use and to filter your data, but this one in particular I find very useful. I'm going to click on the partner, I'm sorry, well, not that one. We're going to do partner executive dashboard. This just gives you more of a roadmap view of the projects. It tells you about projects that exist in the requirements and the CTEs. It shows you the relationship between swim lane, CTE requirement, and deliverable. So if you look across this first one, this particular requirement, cellular FEA topology models, we do not have a deliverable yet that is meant to meet that requirement. That is an opportunity. That's a gap that we need to look at and possibly put together with other requirements into a topic and look for our government friends to possibly support that through some funding. Now, another way we can do this is our roadmap dashboard. The RMAG, the Roadmap Advisory Group, uses this dashboard. They can see which voices, which is the genesis of a requirement, which voices have been through the process and which need to go through the process. They can see which requirements have deliverables attached to them and which ones don't. And again, I can click any portion of these bars and have that information rendered to me only. So if I click on the purple side of value chain, purple means requirements without deliverables, I will get the information related to that piece of information. And my internet's slow, so it's not rendering the table. I apologize. I'm going to click back. Let's do a green one. So here, I did the green one. It gave me all of these that show the relationship between requirement and deliverable. And let's go back that way. And I'm going to reset the default. But everything is clickable and you're able to hit it. Lastly, we're going to talk about the capability needs dashboard. This particular dashboard, it's ready to go, but we don't have the information yet in this digital storefront to render this. There's some test information in here just to give you an idea. What it's going to do is we have capability needs defined by the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, DLA, and once they allow us to share that information, it is essentially where the AM focus is for those services. We are going to tag projects, deliverables, and requirements to those capability needs, and you'll be able to see where levels of effort are focused. So you can see in dark blue here, according to the legend, dark blue means there's a higher level of effort than anywhere else. So in this swim lane, and it's not showing you the name here because it's off the screen, but this swim lane, capability need, test capability need 2, has the highest concentration of effort. And if I were to click on that box, everything down below should go 7 deliverables that are coming out of that box. Again, that's just test data. And if I wanted to see one of these deliverables, again, I could click on the link beside it. It would open up a new window in the digital storefront and show me where it is. I can click it again, goes back. This, along with another very, very important piece, are going to be deployed before MMX and released during MMX in October. So I absolutely encourage you to get involved. So any other questions or comments, please email me on this particular dashboard. But you'll be able to use this to see where America Makes has either funded or found effort and related it to the various capability needs. Those capability needs obviously need to be released by the particular services, but once they are able to do that, you'll be able to see that. The other services will be able to see what they're interested in. So I encourage you to come and play with the Insight Report. You can always go back to the landing page, again choosing your buttons if you wish, but like I said, it works just like Excel. Moving across the bottom, you can choose a tab. And when I'm done with the Insight Report, guess what? I can go right back to the digital storefront homepage. Everything is linked, everything is connected. I can search for whatever I want. So that is in 46 minutes the digital storefront. It's much easier to use, and we are continually looking for ways to improve it. So I encourage you to get in there, play around. search for things, find what you're looking for. I caution you that it is exactly like Google when you search. If you are very specific in your language for your search, you're going to limit your results. If you are more broad, you will get more results. So you have to determine what your tolerance is on that. So if I just tell it to search anything and I tell it to give me everything, I haven't done this search in a while, I'm not even sure how long it'll take. 4,722 results. So there are 4,700 pieces of stuff in the digital storefront for you to look at and consume. So I encourage you to look through projects. If you're interested in a project, look for the project. If you're interested in a deliverable, look for a deliverable. If you're interested in the topic, look for that. Again, natural language searching up here in the top, feel free to use that. It'll work very well for you. I'm going to give you 12 minutes of your life back. If you have any questions or comments, I'm going to open this up right here, and it is on the website, americamakes.us, but you may email me at joe.veronese@ncdmm.org. Feel free to email me any questions. And remember, if you are saving the digital storefront homepage as a favorite, if I could spell, not at, .americamakes.us. That is the URL to get to the digital storefront. Or you can use any of the 20 login buttons we have on americamakes.us. But if you save this, that'll always take you there. So please email any questions and log in, get in there. Don't hesitate to ask. I'll get on the phone with anybody if they have questions. Please reach out to me. But I encourage you to get in there, play around, discover, and consume. So thank you very much for attending today. We had a large crowd. I encourage you to find out what you don't know and get in there. Have a good day, and everybody be well. Thank you.